Good morning, AP Computer Science Principal students, and welcome to another beautiful day in AP CSP. So, as you notice, we're not going to do question of the day. We'll do that on Thursday when I return, and we'll get caught up there. But I did want to go over with you what you're going to be doing today. You've got two things that you're going to be working on. You're going to review flowcharts. I'm going to go over that with you in just a moment. And you're going to do the recipe algorithm assignment today. So let's start by talking about flowcharts. Flowcharts are a graphical tool that programmers use so that they can visualize the logic of a program. So what is a flowchart exactly? A flowchart is a graphical or symbolic representation of a process. Each step in the process is represented by a different symbol and contains a short description of the process step. The flowchart symbols are linked together with arrows showing the process flow direction. Sometimes it's more effective to visualize something graphically than it is to describe it with words. This is the essence of what flowcharts do for you. Flowcharts explain a process clearly through symbols and text. Moreover, flowcharts give you the gist of the process flow in a single glance. The following are some of the more salient reasons to use flowcharts. The top 5 reasons to use flowcharts include process documentation, training materials, workflow management and continuous improvement programming, troubleshooting guides, and regulatory and quality management requirements. And that comes from the 5 reasons to use flowcharts, and you can take a look at that article if you're interested in learning more about why we use flowcharts. Some common flowchart symbols we can see over on the right in the graphic there. Different flowchart symbols have different meanings. The most common flowchart symbols are the terminator. This is an oval flowchart shape indicating the start or end of the process. So when you do a flowchart, you're going to have 2 terminators, one at the start and one at the end. Process. This is a rectangular flowchart shape indicating a normal process flow step. Decision. A diamond flowchart shape, which indicates a branch in the process flow. Connector is a small, labeled, circular flowchart shape used to indicate a jump in the flow process. And data is a parallelogram that indicates data input or output for a process. Your assignment today is the recipe algorithm. Number 1, search the web for a recipe that you like or you would like to try. The recipe in your work should include the following: a picture of the final product, a PDF available for printing. Print the PDF as digital copy with valid name, such as recipename.pdf. Your recipe must have at least 5 ingredients. It must have at least 1 decision. So when you're reviewing your recipe, look for words like repeat, until, is done, layer, words that would mean to either check again or do again. The URL of the site the recipe is found on, and the direct URL to at least 1 image of the recipe. Number 2, use the attached recipe template to assemble, putting the following information in, or create your own similar flowchart. Fill in the heading information. Replace the name of the recipe with yours. No, you cannot leave. Replace the URL and the date accessed with yours. Replace the name of the PDF with yours. Always use descriptive names for all items stored digitally to be able to find and retrieve them quickly. Replace the direct URL with yours and delete the second if not needed. Answer all of the questions thoroughly with appropriate sentence structure. Responses should have reasoning to support your answer. Complete step 6 on the page based on your choice. 3. Final submission is 2 to 3 uploads of PDF depending on your choice. Print out your recipe. Supporting template document with or without the flowchart or similar documentation if you choose to remake it. Flowchart of your recipe with the name of your recipe at the top of the flowchart. 4. Point values for the parts. Partial points may be provided. 10 points. PDF of the recipe with valid name. 35 points total, up to 5 points each for the following line items or groups of items. Heading update with name, date, and appropriate teacher name. That would be me. Name of the recipe and direct URL with access date. Image of the finished recipe. Direct URL to the image of the finished recipe. And question 1 through 5 questions are on the template. 40 points. Varied by item for flowchart. You should have an oval, parallelogram, rectangle with or without rounded corners, diamond, appropriate use of arrows overall, appropriate use of arrow with diamond, cylinder or and wave rectangular probably are not needed. They're optional. It really depends on the recipe, and you will probably have to look that up to see exactly what that does. And 5 points for neatness of the overall flowchart and template page. I've given you an example of a flowchart for a recipe. I did not tell you what this recipe makes. So I would suggest that you start by reading through this particular flowchart to see if you can figure out what the recipe was. And then at the bottom here is the recipe template sample for lasagna. That is your assignment, and that is what you're working on today. If you have questions, you can send them to me through the It's Learning Messenger. I will try and check it. I do know that while you are in class, I am in a meeting. So it might not be until Raider time. No, you don't have Raider time today. It might be a little bit later in the day before I actually get you an answer. Have a great day. Be good for the sub. The sub just heard me say that, so they know that you need to be good.